Hello, hello. Wanted to give everyone a couple extra minutes today. It's a Saturday. Who wants to be up early on Saturday? We're going to start in a seated position for your yin. If that is up against a wall, go ahead and get up against the wall. Sitting on something, go ahead, cross your leg, extend your legs out. Relax your shirt, your pants, make sure you're comfy. Good, relax your face. And close your eyes. And start with a big breath out the mouth. And return, just start at a normal breath. And before you start with any deep breaths, just notice the energy in the mind and the body. Now take 3 full deep breaths in and out at your own pace. And then notice the energy in the mind and body. As you come into a period of a mindfulness practice, you may notice the energy of your week, your morning, resting in the mind and body. The mind may be active. The body may feel worked up, or you might notice a bit of lingering anxiety or emotions from the week. Think of a shaken snow globe with all that energy swirling around. As you rest, the little snowflakes fall gently to the ground. Think of yourself as a snow globe, and every snowflake as a thought. In this way, watch as each and every snowflake falls to the ground. Do not force yourself to calm down. Let it happen slowly and organically. And now bring your attention to the breath in the body. Choose one spot where the breath is felt easily. It may be the center of the chest, the abdomen, the shoulders, or the nostrils. Just observe the physical sensation of the body breathing. Bring the mind back when it wanders. Stick with the snow globe visualization. And as thoughts begin to rise up, observe as they slowly settle back down. Begin to open your awareness to include your thoughts and your general state of mind. Instead of returning to the breath when the mind wanders, notice what the mind is doing. You may notice yourself planning, fantasizing, trying to figure something out, or replaying past experiences. Whatever you observe the mind doing, let it be. When you recognize a thought, what happens? Try not to encourage the thought, but don't push it away either. Allow it to be and allow it to go on its own. See if you can watch the passing of the thought like a snowflake as it follows its natural trajectory and leaves the mind. Just return to the breath and patiently wait until another thought arises. Notice it, watch the thought, and come back to the breath again. Continue with the mindfulness of the breath and the releasing of the thoughts. Notice when you're lost in thought or when the mind wanders for some time. If self-judgment arises, notice that just as you would any other thought. You can always return to the breath for a few moments to ground yourself back into the practice. Slowly deepen your breath to come back into this moment, this time, this space. Slowly begin to open your eyes. And before we move Just take some gentle circles with the head, taking big circles, rolling the head back to the side, down. Take about 5 circles in one direction, and then 5 circles in the other direction. Eyes opened or closed. And then return to a normal breath and lifting the head up. Wonderful. We're just going to do a little bit of work on the wrists today. Extend your right arm forward, fingers down, and bring your left hand on top of your right. And with your arm as straight as you can get it, it might be lower, it doesn't have to be straight out from the shoulders, but gently press your left hand on top of your right. We're going to hold this stretch for about 60 seconds, just like we would any other yin pose or shape. So keep in mind how far you're going into this stretch with your wrist. Make sure that it's about 75–80%. You still have about 30 seconds here. With computers and phones and iPads and laptops and MacBooks and Microsoft Surface things, where we use our hands a lot more than I think that we used to. We've got 2 more breaths, and then we're going to flip the fingers up and stretch the hand in the opposite direction. So after this next exhale, release that right hand, bring the hand up. Still use your left hand, but this time you're going to push the fingers towards your face. Again, here for about 60 seconds. Continue to relax the face, the mind, putting a little bit of focus today on that idea of the snow globe. When thoughts come up as snowflakes, and we can't get those thoughts out of our head, or we perseverate on them, and we become reactionary instead of proactive. Take 2 more breaths. How can we start to take, or what can we start to do to turn those thoughts into loving thoughts? Slowly exhale. Just relax both arms out. Maybe rotate that right wrist or left wrist. If you did your left hand, no worries. If you're rotating your wrist, go in both directions a few times. Get out the snap, crackle, pops. What was I doing last night? I was doing something very simple, like stirring something, and my wrist kept popping the whole time. And I was like, gosh, well, that's new. That's never happened. Every time I stirred something, pop, pop, pop. Let's extend the left arm or the opposite arm out. First, the opposite hand is going to come on top. Remember, about 75–80% of that stretch. We've got about 60 seconds here. Check in with your mouth. Are you gritting your teeth? Are you tense in your jaw? Do you have tightness in your wrists or your fingers or your arms that maybe you can envision, or you can visualize that tension just sort of dripping down to the floor, going all the way down that arm, across the wrist, and leaving your body. You're almost done. Take 2 more breaths. And after the next exhale, you're going to flip that hand up and pull the fingers gently back toward the face. 60 seconds here. And it's not about, today's meditation wasn't necessarily about having thoughts and letting them go, as with a lot of meditations are. Rather, today's class was about seeing those thoughts, noticing what they are, and trying not to be judgmental of the self over them. We're almost done. Take 2 more breaths. Good. Slowly relax. Rotate that wrist out. Any snap, crackle, pops go in both directions. Good. Then move right into toe stretch and ankle stretch next. So if you feel like you need to have something under your knees, please get something. I tweaked my knee a couple weeks ago, so I'm going to put something soft under my knees. Remember, with toe stretch you can do at the wall, placing one set of toes on the wall. Come onto your knees, tuck those toes. Hands either can be on blocks, and you can lean forward to shift some of the weight out of the toes. Maybe move those blocks in between your bottom and your heel. Or maybe just blocks on the side just to rest your hands on, or no blocks at all. Time started about 10 seconds ago. If you are at the wall, you'll be on one set of toes for about half that time, and I'm watching the clock, so in case someone watching this recording is standing, I will let you know when to switch those feet. Relax your face, your jaw. The shoulders be soft. If you're standing at the wall, go ahead and switch your feet. If you're on the floor, you're halfway done. Yay. I know this isn't a favorite of many, but if your toes had teeth and a tongue and a mouth and could speak, I think that they would be happy that you're giving them a stretch. Nearing the end here. Take 2 breaths. And after those 2 breaths, go ahead and move forward, maybe into all fours. If you're standing at the wall, just release both feet. Now, it's been warm the last couple days, so not for those of you watching the video, but those of you live. So if you need some water to stay hydrated, if you've got a little warm the last couple days, feel free to have that water. I believe we're supposed to have 2 days like we did the last 2 days next week as well, just 2 days. Moving into ankle stretch now. So this time tops of the feet on the floor. Your knees are a little closer together if you're not going to be sitting on a block. You're going to bring your bottom right onto your heels rather than in between them. Unless you want to sit on a block, then you'll of course have to separate, or a block or two. You'll have to separate your knees and ankles in one line. You can have a little lean back if you're on a block, but not a lot. It's best to keep the whole spine supported, and that's what you're doing with these blocks, besides giving yourself a lift. So it's best that if you decide you want to go all the way back, that you're not sitting on any blocks. If you want to take this at the wall, you can grab the top of one foot to stretch out that ankle. You can also use a chair and place a foot on the chair and then bend the other knee to get a little ankle stretch. You can also just keep your toes on the floor and curl those toes instead of back. Just let them go the opposite direction. You'll also get that stretch. For those of you on the floor, allow those ankles, the knees, and the tops of your thighs to slowly open. If you're seated upright, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Good. You're over halfway done. Take 2 more breaths. And after those 2 breaths, if you're at the wall, go ahead and have a seat. If you're sitting on a block, remove your blocks. If you're folded back, really deep into that stretch, use your hands and your core and slowly come back up. Swing your legs out around in front of you. The next shape you're going to move into is a caterpillar. A caterpillar is a seated forward fold. Reminder of all 3 options today. You don't have to take it on the floor. When you take it on the floor, you're going to fold forward, maybe use props, sit on a blanket if your hips are tight. You can create a little resistance to perhaps in your body get a little more stretch in the back of your legs, your low back. Or you can take dangling at the wall, which is sometimes, for some people, all of our bodies are different. Being on the floor might be deep for you. Standing at the wall and folding forward toward the wall and walking toward the wall might be the deepest for you yet. So lots of options. No matter where you're at, go ahead and get into the shape that's going to serve you, whether you're just on the floor. So if you're seated on the floor just like me, or if you're up against the wall, I'll put my feet straight, envision pretending that my feet are up against the wall. I like to have a bolster right in between, something on which to rest my forehead and my arms. And then just fold forward. Now if you're seated just in the center of your floor, relax your legs. Just let those toes fall out wide. Let the stretch occur in the body wherever it's going to stretch without you actively holding the legs and the toes in toward each other. It might change what you feel, but you want these stretches to allow your body to just feel naturally stretch when you get into that shape, rather than having to be actively holding on to an area. Just take a slow breath in and slow breath out. Now let's think of a snow globe, just as in today's meditation. If we are the snow globe, that snow globe gets shaken. All those flakes, they move around, they swirl around. fears float around for longer before they land. So if we are the snow globe, and our thoughts are the flakes, the snowflakes, there are our thoughts, our challenges, our perceived challenges, our quality problems, and our safe problems. Before I talk about our thoughts, I just want to explain safe problems versus quality problems. Quality problems are where challenges are real. Illness, job loss, needing a new roof in your home, needing a new car, and so on. Those are quality problems. Safe problems can be one of two things. We have less than 1 minute here. They can be things that we've created in our minds, or sometimes we really believe in our minds that they are real problems. They're things that perhaps we've exaggerated, or due to anxiousness or worry, they seem that much bigger than they really are. Or we fabricate them, we twist them, but for good intention, so that we can get attention or affection or to connect to someone or something. We have 2 more breaths here. After those 2 breaths, slowly lift your body. If you're standing at a door, bend your knees. Slowly lower all the way down to the floor. Move any props. Keep the props nearby, just move them out of your way. Now that was a fold opening the back of the heart, so you might feel that you need to do some circles with the head. Maybe nothing at all. Maybe it was a really nice opening and you just want to sit and observe. I'm going to get into probably, I know I always say I have a lot of favorite poses. This is, I would have to say, my absolute favorite, which is a reclined, supported butterfly. Now, how it's reclined is we're lying back, and it's supported in 2 ways today. If you have blocks, this is one of my favorite to keep it elevated. Is I like to, what I call a Barbie doll house bed. Is I make a Barbie doll house bed with 2 blocks, just like so. Let's do it. It seems real, right? And then I place that near the center top of my mat or floor. If I'm not using a mat, I'm using always mats because my floor is cold. And then I'm going to place my bolster, or if you've got a couple of pillows, vertically on my Barbie doll bed. Scooch all the way back to where the low back, you can feel your tailbone tailbone is resting right up against the prop that you're using, and your sits bones are also on the floor. Bring the soles of your feet together. Now, the whole heart and stomach is going to be open when we lie back. So if you feel like you want to place a blanket or a small pillow over your heart or your stomach or both to feel a little comfort, feel free to grab that. Notice the placement of your feet, if you want them closer to your inner thighs or not, to open or close, or I should say increase or decrease the stretch, and then recline back, maybe open those arms out wide, getting a slight stretch in the front of the shoulders. Palms face up to receive. Now palms face down to be grounded, comforted, to feel connected. Take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. So what do we do? First is to recognize those challenges, those things for which we are having intentional or focused thoughts on. We determine whether they are qualitative, they're real, or they're safe. If they're safe problems, things that either you've created or have allowed to take over your life, maybe ask for help, get assistance, or begin to be mindful about that. See it and start to work through whatever that safe problem or those safe problems are, so that you can get to the real task at hand. We rely on safe problems as a way to avoid working on real problems, real challenges, because the safe problems are easier. Most of the time, like I said, we can control them. We've either created them or we've created the level of their presence in our life. And it seems a lot easier to move through life with the safe problems because we can increase their level of importance in our life, and we can also decrease them when something else comes up. And it's perfectly normal. We've all done it. We all do it. I've done it. But if anything, it's about being aware that you're making the choice, and it might be a good reason why, for sure, out of fear, anxiety, whatever emotions or strong feelings are connected with that behavior. But once we become mindful about that, authentic and truthful with ourselves, we can start to look at the quality problems. We can start to look at the things that we avoid about ourselves, the things that we point our fingers at with everybody else. And we don't do that necessarily for malicious reasons. We often do it because we're scared. We're upset with the decisions that we've made or didn't, the decisions we didn't make. And so it can seem more comforting to deflect, to focus on other things, other people, and what those other things are doing, what those other people did. We have about 1 more minute here. So if you think of yourself as that snow globe and the snowflakes in 2 colors, some snowflakes are red, some are blue. The blue ones are quality problems and sink. The red ones are safe problems and float around in your mind. Without judgment, just think about how many there are of each. Take 2 more breaths here. And slowly bring your knees together. Place your feet on the floor. Hold on to that bolster, squeeze your core, come up to a seat. You will use your bolster or excuse me, other soft props again next. Staggering your legs, as mine are staggered, I've got one leg in front of the other. If you find that you need to stack those legs, you might need a block if it's pulling on your hip or doesn't, the top hip is like, that hurts or something. So keep a block nearby, just in case you need it. Soft prop is going to be vertically against your right hip, right thigh, wherever you are able, wherever you're going to be when you turn and land, that's where you want that soft prop. So your body may naturally kind of push you forward, so you might want to angle that prop, or you might lean back, depending on the tightness in your left hip. I'm on my right side, but you can start on your left if you're already there. So option 1 is to just place one hand on the floor on the other side of the soft prop, and then keeping your left hand, if you're going the same direction as me, on your prop, and take a seated deer twist. So you can stay seated, or full deer twist is to come all the way down, entering your head left or right. If you feel your left foot lift off the floor, that might be a good place to put a block or a soft prop so that you have support there. Your right knee, your right ankle, anything that lifts off the floor, you may want to consider supporting. quality problems sink to the ground and the red ones stay up a little longer and float around those safe problems. Because of what I just said at the end of the last pose, that those quality problems, which are oftentimes, I don't necessarily mean the word problem like it's bad, but they're things that more than likely have arisen and we're choosing not to deal with them. Most of the time it's internal things, the way that we're reacting to something, and maybe it's a truthful thing and it hurts and we don't want to deal with it, we want to avoid it. So we just sort of let that thought float to the ground. Don't want to deal with that right now. I'm going to focus on all the red snowflakes whirling around in my mind that may be causing anxiety and worry and all of those other things. And here's the thing to think about. So if the safe problems, the things that aren't really problems, when you peel away that layer, that onion of that problem, you know that you can probably handle whatever that is. But it's because we know we can control those safe problems. And the anxiety and the fear is coming from, okay, well, when this safe problem, when this real problem goes away, gets resolved, whatever, dang it, I'm going to have to deal with those blue thoughts, the real thoughts that I've allowed to just kind of beep, 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 flow through my mind and just kind of go to the wayside. But you see, yoga is about liberation. Getting out of the mental isolation that we've placed ourselves in over time because of experiences, traumatic events. And so we need to remember that everything that has happened in our life already to this point, we've lived through, recovered from, and survived. And though they may be painful, those blue thoughts, those quality problems, we will also survive from. We have one more minute here. And with the real anxiety and all that is about those safe problems, the things that we're perseverating on, we're worrying about, is that we know at some point we're going to have to deal with those quality problems, the ones that we feel like we can't control because they might involve events, places, people, things, and or there's a reality about ourselves that we may have to face. And that's where the potential anger and anxiety and all that stuff comes from. You have 2 more breaths on this side. Slowly come up. You can extend out your legs, face the direction that your legs are in. Straighten them out. Maybe kind of shimmy the shoulders a little if you need to. Remember, it's a rebound period, so you don't want to move too much or too fast. You want that connective tissue, very, very thin skin type material. You want it to kind of get back into a shape slowly. And move your proper props to the other leg, the other hip, the other thigh. And again, you can go seated, placing one hand on the other side of the props, placing the one hand on top, and then coming into a nice seated twist, or lower your torso all the way down. And a slow breath out. So throughout class today, I've been talking about mindfulness and our thoughts. And today's meditation was not about, as most other meditations, seeing thoughts, hearing them, acknowledging them, and then letting them go through. It was about seeing them and observing them without judgment. And that's being mindful. So the real first step place to get to is mindfulness over the thoughts. Being real with yourself. Seeing the red flags, the safe problems, the safe issues, the safe challenges. Grabbing one at a time, acknowledging it, knowing your role in allowing it to be, to have that much of an impact in your mind, in your life, and letting it melt in your hand. And eventually to start reaching down and pick up the blue flakes. Quality problems, the problems or the challenges or issues that we don't want to deal with, that we come up for excuses of why we can't deal with that right now, whether it's relationships, job, our health, physical health, mental health, spiritual health. And taking one blue flake at a time. Working through it, being mindful, loving yourself as you allow that one to melt as well, but because you're healing, because you are coming to your authentic place about whatever that blue snowflake is about. Yoga is about that, having liberation in the mind to end the mental suffering. So that one day, all of the snowflakes are white. They have no meaning. You are no longer reactionary. Each thought contained in each snowflake is manageable, whether good or not, happy or not. That you will be coming from a place of knowing that you are mentally free from things that keep you pinned down and suffering. You have about one more minute on this side. right or vice versa. You can pile your legs together or just leave them staggered. You're going to bring a soft prop right onto your lap, and again 60 seconds each side. We're going to work on the shoulders and the upper back real quick. So you have two choices, actually three. You can grab opposite elbows, opposite biceps, and lean forward. You can give yourself a hug and reach for the shoulders and lean forward. Or if you have eagle arms, just pay attention to which arm you have on the bottom, and then interlace maybe at the wrists and lean forward. Relax your chin, all three leans. Relax the back of your neck, I should say, so that your chin comes down. We're going to do 60 seconds each leg and arm. So remember which leg you've got in and out, because it is a little bit of stretch in the outer hips, low back, the glute muscles. You're almost halfway done. Slowly come up, unravel the arms, lift up your prop if you're using a prop, switch those legs, switch your arms. I did my right last time on the bottom, so I'm going to do my left this time. Lean forward, relax the back of the neck. It's really nice stretch also to do if you sit at a desk all day. Maybe a business meeting, you can start off that way. Have your colleagues take 3 deep breaths, and then just sort of give themselves a little hug and lean forward, and then lean back, switch the arms, and do it again. Great way to maybe break the ice if you've got a Zoom meeting. About halfway done. And when you come up out of this stretch, you're going to come right into your last pose of class if you want to take Shavasana, which is corpse pose, but we use it often as a meaning of the last quote pose of a class. So after your next exhale, slowly come up. That's a nice one on the shoulders. Extend the legs out, yeah. And then take whatever shape you want. Maybe legs up the wall, restorative pose on your low back. Scoot your booch all the way to the wall. Put those legs up. Or maybe lie down on the floor, a block under your hips to open up your hips and thighs. If you need a little more opening in that area, maybe just lie down with some pillows or blocks under your knees. Just take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. close out class today with an Om. Have a seat, palms face up, arms relaxed by your side. Big inhale, arms up, hands together overhead, down to the heart. And preparing for Om, take a deep breath in. Allowing me to guide you through your class today. It's been my honor and my privilege. Please lift your hands to your lips. I ask that you speak words of kindness and compassion, not just to others, but to and about yourself. Take your hands to your eyes. I ask that you see the beauty and love in others, but also that which lies within you. And lastly, take your hands to your third eye center. Go and be the best you that you can be, because there is only one you. Deep breath in. And exhale as we fold forward to seal our practice and honor each other. Blessings and namaste.